Oh, Pearson gets into the 95 of Folks. Here comes the caution.
Flag is dropped here at Daytona, and away we go for the first time. Nicholas Morcel, Sean.
Looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Ricky Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Dom's, possibly a little bit of contact.
Now, as we've got three wide action going through turns 1 and 2.
And they're underway. Eric Hahn takes a nice jump. Wilson hasn't let him go very far.
Go out here for Circuit Spa Francorchamps. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
Just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
New stuff. Cody Graham's the one-on-one up into second place. Alex Johnson 6/10 the lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, Justin Sang.
They are ready to go. The lights are out, and away we go for the very first time here at Okayama International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the League Zero Racing Series, the premier Formula 3 iRacing League. I'm your host, James East, with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Breathe the action 1080p, 60 frames a second, and today we're at the Virginian Grand Prix. Virginian? Not quite sure on that, but we are at the world-famous VIR, and of course it's in Virginia. Getting ready to start off our feature event, and then we will have the sprint race to follow. Let's go ahead and take a peek at the grid, see where drivers are lining up at, and see where your favorite driver is going to be. Starting on pole, Finley Fitzsimmons, the defending champion. Raymond Aguilar starting second. Micah Barnett starting third. Jack Mundy starting fourth. Flo Dom starts fifth. Jared Ziegler starting sixth. Felipe Sarkis starting seventh. Antonio Bianchi starting eighth. Jaden Calloway starting ninth. Ryan Tebow starts 10th. Nick Peterson starting 11th. Kevin Burrows will be starting 12th. And we cycled it on back to John Kasai, the propane man himself. He's starting 13th. Addison Hoagie starting 14th. Gareth McAllister, the world-famous Australian, starts 15th. Xavier Zanabe, the flying Frenchman, starting 16th. Michael Fairchild starting 17th. Felipe Ramos starting 18th. Peter Rettinger starts 19th. Ricardo Espino starting 20th. And Jay Burton will round out the 21-car grid here today. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready for this race to start. And as always, let us know where you're from, who you're cheering on. Drivers will very often have this broadcast pulled up on a separate monitor or maybe a cell phone. And if they don't, they go back and watch, and they definitely see and appreciate the fans that are out here cheering for them. As we wait for a couple more drivers to make their way out onto the grid. And here we go to start today's feature event. And they are off. It's going to be Fitzsimmons, Aguilar, Barnett up front. Right behind them, that's Mundy and Doms inside the top five, but already Raymond Aguilar's feeling racy, trying to make a move on that number 1 machine of Fitzsimmons. Here comes Micah Barnett, the number 59 machine, and we've got problems out back. It's Michael Fairchild, Xavier Zanabe find themselves off track in turn 1. Looks like Ryan Tebow also involved in an incident, as well as Kevin Burrows. Let's go back up to the battle for 4th. It's Flo Doms trying to fend off Jack Mundy. Oh, a bit of a lock up there from Mundy. That's going to allow Ziegler to make his way by. There's cars scattered everywhere. Is now Raymond Aguilar also off track. The 72 machine drops back to 16th before taking a tow. So Aguilar, who is a fan favorite to do well here in Virginia, finds himself back in spectator row. A little bit further back, Jaden Calloway, the number 37 machine. He's battling against Nick Peterson and John Kasai as they run 8th, 9th, 10th. And of course, for our fans at home, we've got the Team Goon Squad link there to the League Zero merch. If you're looking for a t-shirt, sticker, hat, or mug, check them out and support your favorite league. A portion of every sale goes to supporting the league and their expenses. Antonio Bianchi having a great race in the number 17 machine. He's up 1 spot in 7th. Most drivers have gained at least 1 position here, but Flo Doms gets reported with an off track. That's going to give third place to Jared Ziegler. Ziegler now up 3 positions in the 57 machine. As Fitzsimmons sits out front nice and clean. He's got about a 1 second advantage over Micah Barnett. Barnett currently holding about a 1.5 seconds over Jared Ziegler, who's in that final podium position. Going to be interesting to see here. Micah Barnett sitting about 1 second back from Fitzsimmons. As we go on board that number 59 machine, does he have the raw pace? He's got fairly clean track ahead of him here, just Fitzsimmons. As a round where it used to be was the world famous Virginian oak tree, and no longer there, I'm afraid. We've got more, oh, that's right as we pan there, a little bit of contact between Peterson and McAllister. Peterson's up 9 spots, McAllister up 5. Just ahead of them, Antonio Bianchi finds himself in a drag race with Felipe Sarkis in that number 4 machine. Oh, a little bit of contact there between Bianchi and Sarkis. Bianchi comes out on top in that 17. Meanwhile, Felipe Ramos gets reported in a crash. Looked like a big lockup from Espino as well. So McAllister, who had fair momentum now, is in between 2 teammates. Nick Peterson in 9th, John Kasai in 11th. And looks like something has happened to Jared Ziegler as he pulls over and almost looks like he lets Flo Doms in the 31 machine right on by. So now Doms suddenly finds himself in podium contention. Ziegler keeping Doms within 4/10 here. Last time by, Micah Barnett, the fastest lap of the race, a 1:40.63. Ziegler wants to get back up into podium contention and is keeping the pressure on Doms. Just a little bit further back, you see Jack Mundy. He's about a 1 1/4 second sitting in 5th. He wants this battle for the podium to get heated up. Maybe it will allow him to pull himself back up towards the front. 20 drivers still out on track. 1 driver being forced in an early retirement. That was Ray Aguilar, who had such great pace here. Absolutely gutted to see him back in pit road so early on in this feature event. Felipe Ramos with a big crash and off track. Let's see if we can get that replay queued up for the fans at home. We're looking at Ramos in the number 73 machine. Where does it happen? Oh, a big lockup. And off track he goes. Pirouettes around. Here's McAllister trying to track back down Nick Peterson, the battle for 9th. We gotta pan the camera back to the battle for 3rd. Ziegler glued on the back of Doms. Doms the fastest lap of the race so far. A 1:40.41. Doms is feeling good here with the pace. He's 2 seconds back from Barnett. As we can report that McAllister did make that pass for 9th. Gonna be interesting to see if Ziegler tries to work the draft in the start-finish line. A very long sweeping, I guess you'd still call it a straight. There's a kink right at the start-finish line when drivers are hitting their max speed of about 150 to 160 miles an hour here tonight. Oh no, there goes Ziegler. Ziegler loops it. right as his teammate joins the spectator area. Terrible timing. Unfortunately, that's going to put Ziegler way out of podium contention. He looked so strong to finish well here. And now it is going to be an uphill battle. Focusing the camera back up front, that's Fitzsimmons in the foreground. Micah Barnett focused on camera. About 9/10 separating these two drivers. And looks like Antonio Bianchi sitting in 5th. Oh, almost has a big moment there as he's trying to track down Mundy. That Formula 3 machine squarely off the racing surface. You can also see Felipe Sarkis, Jaden Calloway having a battle for 6th. And we've got problems up front. Flo Doms with an off track. He's going to lose a ton of time here to Bianchi and Mundy, who round out the top 5. Not to mention Fitzsimmons and Barnett still running 1 and 2. Doms about 3.8 seconds back from Barnett, 2.5 ahead of Bianchi. As Fitzsimmons with clean air ahead of him clicks off yet again a very fast lap. Jared Ziegler trying to cut his way back up towards the front. He's got Calloway, Sarkis, Mundy. Not too far ahead, the big mean green machine at 57. Oh, and very tight racing here as we go on board with the Ziegler. Again, that is Calloway right ahead of the number 57. Sarkis 2 cars ahead. Ziegler hops out of the draft, maybe just looking for a better reference point instead of following the leader. But look at the massive run from Ziegler here. Sticks his nose in there. And Jared Ziegler has come to race, ladies and gentlemen. That MSR-backed machine just on rails. Again, he was in battling for podium contention earlier on in this race, before a huge bobble. Now finds himself holding on in the 7th place position. Eyes forward on Sarkis sitting in 6th. Going a little bit further back, a lot further back, it's Ricardo Espino in 15th. He's getting chased by Kevin Burrows and Felipe Ramos. Burrows having a pretty rough race. He's down 4 positions. Espino is up 5. Ramos is up 1. Here comes Ramos looking alongside Burrows. Backs out of it. And another possible battle going on. Look at these 4 drivers. You've got McAllister, Peterson, Kasai, Hoagie. Separated by about 1.5 seconds here. Hoagie, a newcomer in the 96 machine. Their League Zero debut was just last week. And looks like the new driver's starting to show a little bit of pace here and get a little bit more comfortable. We have a very heated battle for 6th. Sarkis and Ziegler. Ziegler still charging forward. Sarkis, who is up one spot, wants to hold on to it. And you can also see Jack Mundy sitting in 5th, that number 14 machine of Mundy, tagging the grass there in a straight. I wonder if Sarkis, I wonder if Sarkis and Ziegler are going to try and work that draft together. Jared Ziegler has other plans. Oh, I think Mundy has issues. I'm not sure if he's having hardware issues, but we've seen several uncharacteristic mistakes out of the young British driver sporting the number 14 machine. Looks like the drive out of the final corner still good though. Mundy holds about a 1.2 second advantage, holding on to that 5th place position. As we're watching Mundy rip around the corners here at VIR. We got about 3 laps left till our halfway mark of the race. Have not seen any green flag stops thus far. One driver who had to force a tow and and speaking of excitement, Flo, my goodness, Flo Doms gets absolutely launched there. What happened to Doms? We saw it on the broadcast software triggering an off track, and that is exactly what it was. An absolute violent hit for Doms. And one more time for the fans at home. If you have small children, they should probably look away now, as here comes Doms, grabs a whole lot of grass on corner exit. Car all sorts of unsettled. And then from hero to absolutely plowed into the wall, Doms just obliterates the number 31 machine. And unfortunately, he is going to go back to pit road taking that tow. He is done and out of this main event. Finley Fitzsimmons holding on to the race lead. 9 laps clicked off so far. Fitzsimmons holds about a 2-second advantage. And this is exactly what Fitzsimmons needed coming into this race. He desperately needed the points if he wants to try and defend his championship. Coming into tonight, Fitzsimmons 27 points behind Reed Gibson. Gibson not out on track here this week. I believe he had travel plans and was not able to make it to the virtual circuit. So while Fitzsimmons would be happy with any points paying position to whittle away, he would absolutely love a clean win from start to finish. And oh no, we've got more problems for Jared Ziegler. Off track again goes the 57. Oh, a little bit of contact there. And a ridiculously long slide. Gotta thank iRacing for those excellent off-track physics. In an effort to keep tires from tire dipping at Spa, they decided to make off tracks more of a ice rink type situation. So if you find yourself off track, you are going to slide for quite a long ways. Micah Barnett cutting through traffic. That was Xavier Zanabe going a lap down the number 12 machine. Now it is Fitzsimmons, Barnett, and Bianchi. 1, 2, 3. Jack Mundy, Felipe Sarkis rounding out the top 5. I believe it's been a while since we've seen Bianchi up in the podium room. Yeah, and it's all the way back on March 2nd at Spa, the sprint race. Bianchi was able to snag a 3rd. That is his only podium so far of this season. Drag race going on for 5th. It's Jaden Calloway versus Felipe Sarkis. Callaway takes over the 5th place spot. He's up 4 positions so far. And we are at the halfway mark. The crossed green and white flags are out from Barney, our flagman. So we are at the halfway mark. Pit window is open for these drivers. This is a one-stop race. Historically, it's been a one-stop race. Something has happened to Jack Mundy as he finds himself in an off-track excursion. Again, what an insanely long slide, but again, Mundy's had something going on here tonight. Not entirely sure what, but he's been plagued with more issues than we've seen in the past. Very uncharacteristic issues out of the number 14 machine. And now he's got Jared Ziegler, who's also been having a rough go right behind. Ziegler fights to take over the 10th place spot. As a reminder to our fans at home, it is a top 12 inverted grid. Oh no, what happened to Antonio Bianchi? Bianchi with an off-track falls back to 5th. That's going to put Jaden Callaway up into podium contention. And a very healthy gap. We've handed the camera over to Callaway. 1.5 seconds now over Sarkis, Bianchi. And there's Gareth McAllister as well, all fighting for the 4th place position. Got another crash report. It's going to be Addison Hoagie, the newcomer. We were bragging on Hoagie earlier. Oh, just locks up the brakes to avoid getting another driver. Well done there. Mundy comes down pit road. Ziegler passing John Kasai's number 3 machine for 8th. Let's talk about Jaden Callaway in that 37 machine. Up 6 spots, has been running a clean race thus far. Now in a podium position. Callaway 12th in points for this championship. Last time we saw Jaden on the podium was at the Long Beach Sprint Race on March 16th, where he managed to snag a 3rd. Also had another podium early on the season, Brands Hatch, February 2nd. Callaway was able to pull home a 2nd. So somebody who's called a whole lot of League Zero races over the years. Always find it very interesting to see drivers very slowly develop their racecraft, their skill. And guys that were running 15th to 20th just a few seasons ago now finding themselves in the top 10, if not the top 5. As they really come into their own. Mundy has one too many. He takes a tow back to pit road, joining the list of drivers who will be retired for the feature. Felipe Sarkis down pit road for a green flag stop. It's still Fitzsimmons, Barnett, Callaway, Bianchi, and McAllister, your current top 5. Let's see if Bianchi's going to be able to collect himself here and get back up to Callaway, try and battle for that 3rd. That 3rd place position has been a bit of a rough luck position for every driver who's held it so far. We're on board with Bianchi. Working the draft strong against Callaway. Callaway surely knows he's right behind him. About a half second separates these two drivers who are very quickly about to be having a battle for 3rd. You can also spot Gareth McAllister not too far back. He's about 1.6 seconds back from this battle for third. But with Callaway and Bianchi working that draft off each other, McAllister's got an uphill battle unless we start seeing some side-by-side action from Callaway and Bianchi. We do see a little bit of a lockup there out of the 37 machine. That is exactly what McAllister needs, is for these guys to start trying to make moves on each other so he can push that number 25 machine just a little bit higher at the standings. McAllister, our hard charger of the night so far, is up 10 positions from his qualifying spot. And here's that side-by-side action as we cross the start-finish line and head into turn one. Callaway on the inside. Bianchi tries a high-low maneuver. Oh, side-by-side. Callaway's got about a half car length. Bianchi not quite able to make it happen. Tries the long way around once more. But the track kind of tightens up here, so I'm not sure what Bianchi's going to do. Now, shortly after this bridge, there is an alternative route where you can take a right and run the short loop here at VIR. That's what I run on motorcycles. These drivers running the full VIR course. And Bianchi just looking for any way through because now Gareth McAllister has joined the party. This is 3rd through 5th on screen right now. Callaway, no stranger to pressure. We have seen that 37 machine frequently up front at the start of sprint races. Good to see Callaway really developing pace here, up 6 spots. There goes Bianchi pulling out of line. What happened to McAllister? Has he fallen off the pace? Yes, he's about 9/10 back from this battle. Bianchi back up into 3rd. Looks like Callaway's going to take that opportunity to come down pit road. That'll give 4th place to McAllister. Nick Peterson will slide up into 5th. Nobody in the top 5 has come down pit road yet. Callaway, Kasai, Hoagie, all down pit road for their scheduled green flag stop. Mundy, Burton, Doms, and Aguilar all forced into an early retirement here. Hopefully we'll see those drivers back out for the sprint race. We check back in on race leader. Bentley Fitzsimmons, 1.3 seconds ahead of Micah Barnett. Barnett's been extremely consistent. Fitzsimmons and Barnett, their fastest laps separated by 0.03 of a second. Fitzsimmons a 140.37, Barnett a 140.4. So both drivers very equally matched on pace. Oh no, Fitzsimmons may have just thrown away a perfectly good race here. A huge lockup onto pit road. Does he have a penalty? Is Bianchi going to come down pit road as well? Bianchi may be moving up into 2nd. If Fitzsimmons has a long stop to serve a penalty, let's see. Fitzsimmons and Barnett roll out of pit road together. I think Fitzsimmons may have just been given a gift from the iRacing gods. And who's that up front? It's none other than world-famous Australian Gareth McAllister, opting not to come down pit road. He's going to stretch that fuel run out just a little bit longer than the 25 machine and try and get a lap led here at VIR. Fitzsimmons and Barnett, 2nd and 3rd, separated by about 1.3 seconds. Oh no, Bianchi, more problems. He was battling for 3rd. He will have an uphill battle once more with 6 laps left to go. That could put Felipe Sarkis into podium contention here. We know McAllister still has to come down pit road. And I'm going to pull something up. I don't think we've ever seen Sarkis in a podium spot. Or at least with a podium finish, I should more aptly say. Let me get the results queued up here. Looking through, going back to season 5, it looks like the highest finish Sarkis has ever had was a 5th place. He's got 2 top 5s to his name. And that was just barely in that 5th place position. So let's see where Sarkis is going to be compared to McAllister as McAllister rolls down pit road. Bill Fitzsimmons and Barnett first and second. Can't believe Fitzsimmons wasn't given a pit road penalty there. McAllister rolls out of pit road. Is he ahead or behind of Sarkis though? Looks like he's going to be ahead just ever so slightly, but the field's starting to bunch up here. You've got McAllister, Sarkis, Ziegler, Peterson, Callaway, as well as Antonio Bianchi. So 3rd through about 8th, a nice tidy pack. You know Sarkis trying not to get in his own head here. Finish 4th, that's still going to be his best finish of all time, but he would like nothing more to bring home a podium. But I think Jared Ziegler is going to have other plans here in the 57, looking for a way around that number 4. McAllister knows there's a hornet's nest right behind him. He's on the gas in the number 25, our hard charger so far of the evening. That's going to be tough to beat McAllister up 12 spots. And a very busy racetrack from 3rd through 8th. You've got Ziegler and Sarkis side by side. You've also got Peterson and Bianchi putting on a show in the battle for 7th. With 4 laps left to go, does Ziegler have the pace to try and track down McAllister? Or is he going to spend too much time battling with Sarkis? Sarkis, a big move the inside line, a little bit of a lockup there. I couldn't tell if that was from Ziegler or from Sarkis. Off track, I think that was Ricardo Espino hopping out of the way for this absolutely frantic pack. Go just a little bit further back, there's Bianchi involved with his own battle with Callaway and Peterson for 6th. Still, I mean, the top 5 very much undecided at this point. McAllister trying to fend off Ziegler in the battle for 3rd. Ziegler now up into 3rd. Let's pan the camera back to Bianchi and Peterson having their battle for 7th. Well done to Ziegler, but I'm still a little bit apprehensive with how the 3rd place position has been all sorts of bad luck for these drivers. 3 laps left to go. We check in on Finley Fitzsimmons, a 1.2 second advantage. Fitzsimmons looks like he's got a fairly clean track. I know Felipe Ramos isn't too far ahead of him. I'm trying to see what other driver that is. And what happened to Ziegler? The bad luck continues for the number 57 as he now falls back to 5th briefly as he's still battling for Callaway with Callaway. McAllister back up to 3rd. Around goes Ziegler. Callaway heavily involved. The field scatters. Oh my goodness, the 3rd place woes continue. Got the replay queued up here. Trying to see what exactly transpired. Callaway with a big send. I think just 2 drivers trying to occupy the same place. Ziegler narrowly avoiding pulling back out on track, so that's going to put Gareth McAllister back into 3rd with 2 laps left to go. Ziegler, if he didn't have bad luck, he wouldn't have any luck at all. We're watching Nick Peterson shoehorn in between Bianchi and Ziegler. White flag will be out next time by. Is a bit of cloudiness here at VIR. Things got mighty dark mighty quickly here trackside. Really no virtual thunderstorms rolling in. Not an option yet, but soon. It's Fitzsimmons, Barnett, McAllister, your top 3. Sarkis and Peterson round out the top 5. Sarkis looking for a career best finish here as he holds on to 4th. Bianchi and Ziegler 6th and 7th. Oh no, around goes Peterson. He's done it out of it. That's going to put Ziegler back up into 5th. Bianchi stays tucked in behind, nice and clean. Bianchi doing a great job. Oh, as I say that, a very high speed off track. Able to hold on to it. Bianchi trying to do anything he can to pull back up to Ziegler and challenge for 5th. Bianchi right behind Ziegler. White flag is out for Fitzsimmons. Oh, Barnett had a big off track. Losing a bit of time to McAllister. Thankfully, Barnett has a 32-second advantage over the world-famous Aussie. Hold on to 3rd. So the camera focuses on Fitzsimmons, making his way around the final corner, down the start-finish line stretch. And Fitzsimmons picks up another win here at League Zero. I'm a little confused. Somebody said Ziegler went through the pits to break the draft. Get that replay queued up. It's Fitzsimmons first, Barnett second, McAllister third. Oh my goodness, he actually did it. I don't think that's legal. But well done to Ziegler. The move of the race. One more time, because that's the funniest thing I've ever seen here at League Zero. So we're focused in on the 57 of Ziegler, who's having a battle with his longtime friend Bianchi and league owner Antonio Bianchi. And Ziegler hauls through the alternative pits to break the draft here at VIR. Almost positive that's not legal. I admire the heart and the courage to do that in front of the league owner. And there it is so far, ladies and gentlemen. That is the play of the race. So we're going to get our drivers up here into victory lane. Our top three drivers. Let's start things off with Gareth McAllister, the number 25 machine. Gareth, welcome back to the podium. It's been too long, and it's damn good to have you, bud.
I tell you, James, I am absolutely ecstatic. What a race. I have no idea. Okay. I have no idea how I pulled out of the pits in front of that big pack of cars. Don't ask me. I have no idea. But it was fantastic. The car felt amazing. Got a little bit loose at points, but yeah, I'm so happy.
Well, Gareth, it seemed like that third place position was a bit of a bad luck charm for so many drivers here. They would take it, fall apart, and then immediately kind of get sent to the shadow realm. How are you able to hold on to it here?
Well, it was actually really tough over some of those curbs, and then a couple of those corners. I actually tried to swing around a lot, but I really had to lift off a lot to make sure that that I didn't spin out. And I think really caution was key. To be honest with you, I just made sure to keep the car underneath me and in one piece, and it seemed to pay off.
Well, Gareth, I'm glad it worked out well for you, and I know it's going to put you in an exciting spot for the sprint race. Straight back to the meat grinder. What are you expecting here at VIR in the sprint? You think we're going to get through lap one clean, or is it going to be a rough one for the boys?
I think we're going to have similar to what we had at the start of the feature. I started back in the 15th, I think, spot. So I saw a couple of cars get together early on and get into each other. And I think we're going to see something similar. I'm hoping not too much because I have a tendency to get involved in it if it's a big one. So we're hoping that it's nothing huge. But yeah, it's gonna be exciting to watch anyway.
Awesome, Gareth. Always a pleasure having you back here, my friend. We wish you the best of luck in the sprint race. And before we let you go, who do you want to give a shout to that helps make it happen for you?
I definitely got to shout out you, James. Always amazing. I always love watching going back and watching all this. Thanks to my whole family. Thanks to League Zero. Love all the guys in here. They're actually amazing. Please join if you like F3s for sure. And got to shout out my teammate Finley as well. He had a hard fought battle up at the lead from what I've heard. And Micah and him put on a good show. And I'm just happy I could bring home a podium position for the team as well.
Awesome, Gareth. Always pumped for you, my friend. Best of luck in the sprint race.
Thanks, James. Catch you later.
Thank you, sir. That was Gareth McAllister bringing it home in third. Up next, Mr. Consistency, Micah Barnett, the 59 machine. Micah, what a wild race. We saw so many fast guys going home early, and looks like the cards fell in your favor this time, and you're able to click off laps and make things happen.
Yeah, I got lucky and was able to drive. Didn't have a whole lot of stuff to deal with in front of me or behind me, so was just trying to not throw it off the track. This is a very mentally tough setup and track combination. A lot of ways to die here, so.
Yeah, VIR, it doesn't reward inattentiveness, I would say. Even my experience run on just the South track. But what made the setup so treacherous here tonight, or was it just the combination?
I think it's the combination. There's so many, it seems like all the braking zones here, you're turning and braking, so you really got to take care of your front tires and modulate the brakes. And then there's a lot of high commitment corners. The fast left-hander at the top of the hill, I think it's turn 10. Coming into the roller coaster at the end of the back straight, just a lot of spots where you can lose a tenth or 2 tenths by not pushing, but when you push, it just there's grass everywhere and curbs that want to kill you, and yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough track and a long future event. What's the plans for the sprint race? You've either had extremely great luck in sprints or the polar opposite. What are you feeling? What's the magic 8 ball saying for this one?
It's going to be somewhere in between catastrophic and amazing. So somewhere in there or one of those.
You're like the local weatherman, Barnett. There you go. You
Yes,
got
that's
your call
right.
sign now, because yeah, I mean, no matter what, you're right.
That's right. Yeah, it can't hardly go wrong. I hope I can make it further than I did last sprint. But we'll see. It depends on what happens in front of us. So.
Awesome, Mike. I know I'm looking forward to it as well as the fans at home. And speaking of, who do you want to give a shout to that helps you bring home a second here in this feature event?
Yeah, as always, Scuderia Chicken House guys. My wife and my daughters who corrected me that they didn't complain I hadn't given them a shout out. They just mentioned it, so I want to clear that up. So them, and then as always, Team Goon Squad. Great job on the broadcast. Love watching them.
Well, thank you, Micah. I'm glad we found a situation where the weathermen will never be right, and I can relate. And I wish you the best of luck in the sprint race, my friend.
I appreciate it, James.
Thank you, sir. That was Micah Barnett bringing it home in second. But up next, the man, the myth, the legend, Finley Fitzsimmons. Welcome back to the top spot. I know the last couple of races have been not quite what you were looking for. I mean, last week was pretty good, bringing home a first, but it seemed like a spattering of bad luck had you nervous about the points for a while.
Yeah, definitely. But with Reed not being here, I was quite surprised to begin with. I heard from someone that he had said before, but I hadn't had any word of it. I knew this week, I had to nail it going into it because any sort of mistakes or not finishing as high up as possible could be big in the points. But with Reed not here and with the points in the feature race, I knew, because Michael was also 1 point behind me in the championship, that he was still on between me and him, so I just need to finish in front of him and I'll be fine. But I knew it was a race of attrition, and I was definitely scared to push track limits there.
Yeah, Barnett still definitely in the points coming tonight. You guys were separated by 1 point. I'll be curious to see what it is after the feature points. But Benny, as somebody that's very used to battling for the top spot, how tough is it as a racer to think, hey, you know what, a top 5, I just need points. That's my main focus, and the win isn't the focus sometimes.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that sometimes. But yeah, I kind of felt that in qualifying as well. Flo had a really good lap time in practice and shook me a little bit, but I'm not sure what happened to him, whether the qualifying didn't go as well for him and I hooked up a pretty good lap. But no, I was definitely thinking about that with Reed not being here, how much do I risk versus, how much do I push? And I think I got the right balance.
Awesome, Finley. I know the sprint race is going to be exciting. So what is the plan with the sprint? Is it, go right off the rip and see what you can do, hang back, wait for other guys to crash, or is it one of those just wait and see type situations?
It's a wait and see, but survive is the main game because, I think pretty much everybody bar me and Micah went off track at some point. So, you just got to make sure you stay on track yourself and capitalize on other people make mistakes. But no, I really don't know what's going to happen coming into the sprint race because, this track is very hard to pass. There's only real 2 overtaking spots and 1 you have to have balls of steel. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes, but we'll do what we can.
Awesome, Finley. Best of luck to you and your brass clinkers. And before we let you go for the sprint race, who do you want to give a shout to that helped make this win possible for you?
Mega drive from Gareth. I just want to just say that it's a brilliant drive from him. Brilliant points for the team as well. It was both of us finishing in the podium on the feature race. I don't think has ever happened before. So yeah, an absolutely phenomenal job by him. I'm really proud of him. Thank you, of course, to you, James, in the booth. I'll definitely watch this back afterwards. Micah as well for putting on a great race near to the end. I haven't mentioned it. He put me on so much pressure because the cap was 1.1 for about 5 laps and it didn't change. I was definitely staring at a relative more than I should have done, but no. Usual really as well. Thanks to the stewards for putting on a great league and making sure it's all nice and clean.
A lot of fun for us as well as the fans. Finley, best of luck in the sprint race, and congratulations again on yet another feature win getting added to your resume.
Thank you, James. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. That was Finley Fitzsimmons finishing in the number 1 spot. Don't go anywhere. We're going to have a brief intermission, and we will be right back for the sprint race here at Virginia International Raceway, where we've got half the laps and twice the action. Oh, Pearson gets into the 95 of Bolts. Here comes the caution.
Flag is dropped here at Daytona, and away we go for the first time. Nicholas Porcel, Sean.
It looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Reed Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Dom's, possibly a little bit of contact.
Now as we've got 3 wide action going through turns 1 and 2.
And they're underway. Eric Hahn takes a nice jump. Wilson hasn't let him go very far.
Go out here for Circuit Spa-Francorchamps. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
Just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
New stuff. Cody Graham's the one-on-one up into second place. Alex Johnson 6/10 the lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, Justin Sang.
They are ready to go. The lights are out, and away we go for the very first time here at Okayama International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the action-packed sprint race here at League Zero. As we get ready for these drivers to make their way out onto the grid. Remember, it's an inverted top 12, so starting the number 1 spot, it's Peter Rettinger. Addison Hoagie starts 2nd. Ryan Tebow starting 3rd. Don Kasai starting 4th. Nick Peterson starting 5th. Jaden Calloway starting 6th. Antonio Bianchi starting 7th. Jared Ziegler starting 8th. Felipe Sarkis starts 9th. Gareth McAllister starting 10th. Micah Barnett starting 11th. And Finley Fitzsimmons, that feature event winner, will round out the inverted top 12 grid. Remember, it's half the laps here, so it's going to be 11-lap sprint race at VIR. As it looks like the field is set, Jay Burton, Flo Doms are not going to make their way out onto the start. All eyes on Peter Rettinger, the Austrian, the number 44 machine. As away we go, Addison Hoagie, a bit of a burnout there, the number 96 machine. That's going to allow John Kasai and a striking opportunity. And look at Ryan Tebow battling for the lead early on as we're 3 wide through turn 1. Denave currently shown as the only driver with an off-track incident. It's Rettinger, Hoagie, Tebow, Peterson, Kasai, your current top 5. Keep an eye out on Peterson and Kasai, 2 teammates linked up 4th and 5th. Expecting to see these 2 working together. My goodness, what a busy racetrack. I think that was Jared Ziegler in the 57. Trying to get around Bianchi. Oh, and a very risky move as they're side by side, 2 wide, 2 rows deep. That's Barnett and Calloway right behind. Barnett very consistent. I'm kind of predicting that he would back out of it slightly, but there's really not much room to go here. And slow down to allow the shenanigans away from you. Nowhere to go in front as Ziegler and Bianchi still side by side. It's going to be Ziegler on the inside line to the left-hander. Bianchi flicks it into the right. My goodness, what good racing between these two. This is the battle for 6th. That's going to give Peterson and Kasai maybe a bit of a chance here. Rettinger off track and comes right into the, oh my goodness, the caution needs to come out. A violent hit at the start-finish line. Yes, the safety car will be deployed. What a spectacular crash. And one of the most violent crashes that I've ever called in iRacing. All eyes focused on Rettinger, the number 44 machine, makes his way around the final corner. Does he push wide? Yes, he does. The car breaks free from underneath him, plows the Armco barrier, and then Rettinger bounces back onto a very hot track, and poor Jaden Calloway just gets obliterated there. Calloway also bouncing onto the hot track. Trying to see who else that was. Was that in the 37? I think it was. No, that was the 23 of Burrows. I'm going to get something queued up here. The fans at home, and it's going to be a good one. So on board with Jaden Calloway. Just no heads up, no warning. Just absolute violence. And we will be under eye-pacing conditions in this sprint race. After, hands down, one of the most violent Formula 3 crashes I've ever seen on iRacing. So let's see if it's going to be an abbreviated caution. Peter Rettinger, Jaden Calloway, Kevin Burrows, all forced into an early retirement. Low Dobbs that did not start. Looks like we're going to do one more lap in what was already a short sprint race. It is going to be very exciting. So Addison Hoagie, the newcomer, the 96, will be starting in the top spot. Ryan Tebow second. Nick Peterson third. Kasai and Ziegler will round out the top five. and a very long safety lap here in Virginia. Drivers hitting speeds of excess of 54 miles an hour behind our iRacing safety car. A lap time under pacing around 3.5 minutes, long enough to make a hot pocket here in Virginia. We're going to make our way through the final couple of corners, and let's try this again. Now being whittled down to a 7-lap race. We almost had one full lap here before we didn't. Addison Hoagie's in the hot seat. Safety car down pit road. And we are back racing, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be Addison Hoagie diving into turn 1 deep. Ryan Tebow trying to close the gap 0.2 of a second off the back of that 96 machine. In the back, everybody's scattering, looking for a little bit of real estate. Looks like the start's going to be good. Here comes Ryan Tebow trying to take the long way around that 96. Right behind Tebow, that's Nick Pierce, the number 24 machine. His teammate, John Kasai, involved in a battle with Jared Ziegler in the 57. Ziegler, who took that very unique line in the feature event. But it looks like Hoagie's going to hold on to it a little bit longer. While Peterson looks to be charging up next to or trying to get around Tebow. Jared Ziegler driving like a man possessed in that 57. Looked like a bit of a lockup there. Couldn't tell if that was from Ziegler, Kasai, or Bianchi. Everybody stuffed right in there. Fitzsimmons and Barnett, who went first and second in the feature event, they're 7th and 8th out on track. Gareth McAllister, who finished 3rd, he's currently 11th out on track. Now, you heard in the podium interviews, are you going to play it safe or are you going to push early? Well, the play it safe option's been kind of taken away from these drivers with a sprint race that's already short enough. Now getting a lot more frantic, and speaking of frantic, we're going to go on board with Antonio Bianchi. He is right behind Kasai. Kasai right behind Ziegler. Bianchi hops out of the line here, heavy on the brakes. Oh, goes for a high-low, not quite able to do it as Kasai closes the line, but Bianchi driving well here in the 17. Redinger joined us in the spectator area after getting released from the infield care center, saying somebody oiled the grass. And to Redinger's defense, we talked about that very early on in the broadcast, how treacherous any off-road activities are. Just ask John Kasai, as he's all sorts of out of shape. Ryan Tebow has taken over the race lead from Addison Hoagie. That's going to be Tebow's 2nd spot. And Hoagie, with their 2nd race, just has to be happy with any sort of good finish, but we spoke too soon. As Hoagie, a big hit. They push wide. Oh, just loops the back end. Tebow got into the back of Hoagie as well. Was that Tebow? Yeah, that was Tebow. Does Tebow have any damage? As they lead the race here, Jared Ziegler second, Antonio Bianchi in third. McAllister off track is going to fall back to the 13th place position. And here we go. Bianchi and Ziegler have been racing hard all night long. Oh, Bianchi very close to track limits there. Ziegler looking for a way through. Right behind them, that's Barnett, Peterson, Aguilar, Fitzsimmons, Sarkis. Mundy pretty much second through 10th. Separated by just a few seconds here. A very massive pack and nobody able to really break away and make anything happen. Hoagie comes down pit road after another off-track excursion. I believe their rear wing being gone may attribute to that lack of downforce on the number 96 machine. Fitzsimmons and Peterson side by side for 6th. We gotta go back to this extremely heated battle for second. Bianchi and Ziegler for the second race in a night in a row have been putting on the fireworks. Now let's see here if Ziegler's able to work the draft. Aguilar though back and forth shows the fastest lap of the race on 140.98. A 10th to 2/10 faster than anybody in front of him. Oh, a big lock up there from Bianchi. Ziegler tries to capitalize, pulls up alongside that number 17 machine. But Bianchi's going to hold on to that preferred inside line. Ziegler trying the long way. Ziegler makes it happen around the outside line. And where did Ray Aguilar come from? A little bit of contact there between, I believe that was Bianchi and Barnett. No, that is Finley Fitzsimmons. With just 4 laps left to go. The gloves are off inside the top 5. Ryan Tebow, your race leader, he's hoping this continues. He wants to break away and leave it all behind. So it's Tebow, Ziegler, Aguilar, Barnett, Bianchi, your top 5. And it looks like Aguilar finally took off the pit limiter, and he is back in action. He is up 18 spots so far into third and wants to make it a second. And these guys are gaining a little bit of ground on Tebow as well. Aguilar put down a fastest lap, just about a full half second faster than Ryan Tebow. So he has the pace to catch up to your race leader if nothing changes. And now here comes Aguilar, a 140.4. Aguilar finding even more time. Tebow 1.7 seconds up over Aguilar. Tebow 20th in points. Has not had a podium so far this year. Tebow's also never had a win in his League Zero career. He's 9/10 up over Aguilar. I don't know if Tebow has the pace. He's got to hope that Aguilar and Ziegler keep racing very hard for second. But Aguilar is a man on a mission here. Mike Barnett, the number 59 machine, I think he's going to play it safe. Meanwhile, Fitzsimmons trying to make a move alongside Bianchi in the battle for 5th. I think Fitzsimmons kind of one of those drivers more likely to gamble. You heard it in the previous race here tonight. He needs to finish ahead of Barnett to secure the maximum amount of points and try and bring home a championship. Still 3/4 of a second in Tebow's favor. It's going to be 2 laps left to go as Tebow crosses the line here at Virginia International Raceway. And you can see 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th in one shot. And that time it's Micah Barnett, a 140.226. A new fastest lap of the race. Barnett still has something to maybe interject into this party. Every driver focusing on who's ahead. Oh, a little bit of a bobble there from Tebow. The gap has closed to a half second. Here we go, the battle for the lead. It's Ryan Tebow, Raymond Aguilar, but look at that. Jared Ziegler fires back into second. Micah Barnett, a little bit of an off-track excursion there. Aguilar, who thought he had it all set up, suddenly finds himself looking at the gearbox of Jared Ziegler once more. And I think Barnett in that number 59 machine just kind of playing it safe here, as Jared Ziegler doing anything but as he challenges for the race lead, pulling alongside and ahead of Ryan Tebow. Aguilar Barnett looking away around that number 27 machine. Aguilar pulls alongside Tebow. Tebow defends the inside line. Micah Barnett also in the mix. Ziegler clicks off the fastest lap of the race, a 140.17. Absolutely ripping it here. Fitzsimmons got close, a 140.23. Micah Barnett also has a 140.23 to his name. But very quickly, Ziegler has built up a 1.8 second gap over a very frantic battle for second. 4 drivers in the fray: Tebow, Aguilar, Barnett, and Fitzsimmons. Aguilar tries to rocket around Tebow. And I think that was Micah Barnett, the alternative line there through the grass, hopping the curbing. I'm amazed Barnett did not get a slowdown there. We're watching the battle for third. Tebow trying to get his first ever career podium. White flag is out. Barnett trying to make a move against Tebow. Fitzsimmons kind of watching along, but I can pretty much guarantee if Barnett starts to go, Fitzsimmons is going to try and follow. I think Tebow's trying to get out of the way at this point. Oh no! Fitzsimmons with the off track, a self spin. Fitzsimmons falls back to 7th. White flag is out for Jared Ziegler. Ziegler holds 1.4 seconds up over Aguilar. 2.4 seconds ahead of Barnett. Barring any mistakes, this could be the finishing order, but we've seen VIR rear its head several times against these drivers so far this evening. Ziegler makes his way around the last corner and picks up the win here in the sprint race. And the first win of the season, and goes for a long slide. Raymond Aguilar follows suit, and Micah Barnett follows in tow. Remember, you can't spell slippery as glass without most of the letters from grass, as these drivers are showing, and Ziegler absolutely pumped here. And that is Ziegler's 5th win to his name. His last win, June 23rd, 2022. And Ziegler enjoying the limelight here. As we are waiting on Ray Aguilar to make his way up into the waiting room. Ziegler's trying to do a reverse lap. I have a sneaking suspicion this will go poorly. Well, normally I'd pull up the interviews and a replay, but I think all the fans, as well as myself, kind of want to see how far Jared can get here. We've heard of a Polish victory lap. This one a little bit different. So we'll get the podium interview started. Up next, or up first, I should say, it's Micah Barnett, the number 59 machine. Micah, welcome back, my friend. That was exactly what you needed after such a wild feature event. Able to cut through, up 8 spots and lock up a whole lot of points here.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I don't want to brag, but I did call it after the first race that it would be somewhere between catastrophe and amazing. Fortunately, towards the better end of that, but definitely an exciting race, kind of a head on the swivel thing, and cars everywhere. And I had one off-track excursion by about 20 yards, which is considered a whiff, I think, in racing corner parlance. So anyway, yeah, a lot of excitement.
Yeah, Micah, when the safety car came out, were you ahead of that before it got catastrophic?
Well, I was more like due about 20 yards due east, out in the grass, checking out the landscaping. I had pushed wide out of the last corner, and yeah, I was way off to the left, and just got lucky that it all blew up where I was supposed to be instead of where I was.
Yeah, the alternative line definitely paid off well there, but man, yeah, what a spectacular incident that was. But Mike, I'm curious to see how the points is going to break down. You're able to finish just right behind Finley in the feature event, gained quite a few spots, I believe 4 positions ahead of the young British driver after the sprint. I mean, you're a smarter guy than I am, being a weatherman and all. What do you think that's going to do to the points, and how close is it going to be?
I don't know the answer to any of your questions. I don't even understand most of the words you're saying. But what I do know is that Reed wasn't here. Both Finley and I are chasing Reed. So I think it's going to be good for both of us in terms of that. But I don't know where it's going to shake out. I think Finley and I are probably going to end up pretty close to each other. But yeah, I don't know exactly where. So.
Well, Micah, despite not knowing any of the words of the context, still able to answer the question. Another great race for you in that 59 machine, and give the fans one more sign off, especially the wife and kids, so we both don't get yelled at, on who helped you bring home the third here tonight.
Yep, absolutely. Scootery Chicken House, good bunch of guys. Shout out to Reed. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it tonight. He's off doing something fun, so I'm glad to eat his yummy points. As always, Team Goon Squad, and one more to my wife and daughters. And thanks for their support and letting me play race car driver.
Awesome, Micah. Always a pleasure, my friend, and hope to have you back up here next week.
Same, James. Hope to talk to you soon.
Thank you, sir.
See ya.
That was Micah Barnett bringing it home in third. Up next, the guy I haven't had the chance to talk to in way too long, Ray Aguilar. Welcome back, my friend. A great drive after a very disappointing feature event for you and the team, but 19 positions, a second place in the sprint race in a clean race car, and some really big sins in those last few laps.
Yeah, it came down to choosing to finish the race or come in second, so I chose to come in second.
Yeah, it seemed like I think it was about 3 to go, maybe 2 to go. All the aggressiveness just kind of came out of nowhere between yourself and pretty much everybody in the top 5. And I know Virginia looks deceptively wide, but I mean, realistically, how big is the race line that you can truly run through some of these sections? A car and a half, maybe?
Yeah, some of them are 1 car wide. And in a sprint race, given the opportunity to use 2 car lengths or to go side by side with somebody, it's a recipe for disaster. I don't know how most of us made it through it.
Well, a lot of skill and ability, but it seemed like you guys got through just okay and got to watch Ziegler bring home the win. But, Raymond, we talk about it in weeks past, but it seems like there's a lot more different names and faces we find you battling with in the top 5 in these later seasons.
Yeah, definitely in the feature races it kind of equals out, and you go on pace. In the sprint races, you get opportunities for basically anybody can win these things, which makes it fun some nights. On most nights like this, for me, makes it a little bit more challenging. But oh well, you win some, you lose some. This has been a pretty mediocre season so far, so we're kind of hoping next season will be a lot better. Try to be more consistent, less crashing.
Well, that's what we aim for with Team Goon Squad at least, but good to see you in that track limit racing doing so well. Almost uncharacteristic seeing the driving style change a little bit more patient, but I feel like that's lending out to more consistent, better finishes instead of, hero or zero type results.
Yeah, well, no, there's a ton of hero or zero out. We're getting the mixture of both, and it's kind of interesting to see. You see, some people are willing to kind of like end somebody else's night in order to get a position, and other people hold off. I'm hoping that next season I can sort of focus on the long term and not the short term. I DNF'd a lot in the beginning of the season. These last few weeks have not been great. So I don't know. This feature race, back to almost front was a decent night for me. Maybe that's what I need to get out of bed in the mornings.
Decent. Set the bar low and you'll never be disappointed.
Exactly.
But Ray, a great run. Good to have you back up here, man. I know the feature wasn't great, but still a solid way to cap off the night in second in the sprint race. And who do you want to give a shout out to that helped make it happen for you in that 72 machine?
My teammate Antonio, he was really instrumental tonight in keeping me from punching a wall and kicking a dog or something crazy. And I also just want to say shout out to Papa John's. They actually pulled through tonight. They normally don't give you a good outcome, but somehow it's gotten better in the last couple times.
Awesome, Ray. A man of health and dedication. It's good to have you back up here, and hope to have you back up here next week, my friend.
I love you too, James.
I love you as well. That was Ray Aguilar bringing home a second. But up next, somebody we haven't had the chance to talk to in a while, Jared Ziegler. Welcome back to the top spot. It's been since, I think, June of last year is what we say. Yeah, June 23rd. You had your last win, and what a way to do it here at Virginia.
Yeah, it was I love this track, man. It's not a track that most people like, but I don't know what it is with me in this car here, or just me here. I won TGS here a few weeks ago as well, so I don't know. I just love this track. It works in my driving style.
Yeah, it seemed like you and Ray were pulling off some passes that really just shouldn't have happened in those last few laps and able to work some lines. I'm assuming you've got, with endurance racing and everything else, you've got hundreds of laps here, but is that the trick to knowing where you can make those big passes at?
Yeah, absolutely. This track, there's really only maybe 2 passing zones here, and that's through 14A, and the turn 1. So you had to be creative, innovative with where you can pass people. And I learned in the feature race, I had a poor feature race. I was probably the 3rd fastest car there, but I kept spinning out and all this and that I had to pass everyone like 2 times to get back up to 5th. So I kind of learned there how to pass people and where to pass. You get a huge run through VSs, and a lot of people are uncomfortable going side by side through there. And I made a full send on Ray through South Bends with like 3 to go to claim that P2, and get a run on Ryan to get P1 there. Not many people would have considered trying to make a pass there, so attack him where they least expect it, and it's worked out for me so far today.
Yeah, it worked out very well. I know the feature event seemed like that third place, doesn't matter who was in it, was stricken with bad luck, but able to pull it together here for the sprint. And Jared, I guess one of my final questions, and you demonstrated it well in your post-race celebration, is the grass everywhere in iRacing this bad, or is there something particularly treacherous about Virginia?
I think just Virginia seems a lot more slippery. I don't know. You clip the grass here and you automatically spin. There's some other tracks where you can kind of clip it and not. But yeah, I went all out with my celebration to demonstrate some of the airs with this track. Plus, I mean, if they're going to put the walls 150 feet away from a racetrack, I want to use all 150 of that feet. So
Yeah, we paid for it.
yeah, I paid to enter this race, so I'm going to use all the racetrack I can. So, and I almost hit the wall entering through turn 1 over there. So I used all of it.
And speaking of using all the racetrack, we've got one more question for you. How much were you and Antonio Bianchi giggling when you took the alternative pit road in that feature event?
Hey, I asked right in the drivers' meeting, hey, what about the backstretch pit road? Since you get lots of draft here. Down the front straightaway is about 2/10. Through the S's section is about 2/10, and down that back straightaway is another 2. That's 6/10 you earn here. So if you can cut off some of that down the backstretch, that's a huge advantage for you. So I asked, and they said it was legal. So I used a few of it in the feature event to pull away from Flo for a moment, and then until he caught back up with me. And then Antonio later on used it against me, but I knew his tactics since I created those tactics earlier in the race. So trying to just cut off a little bit of the air from them, and it helps a lot. So I thought it was really funny when he did it. I'm like, oh, you're not doing it on me. So.
Well, a lot of fun for me in the booth as well as our fans at home. And Jared, you got the privilege, the pleasure, my friend, the final send-offs of the night. Who do you want to give a shout out to that helped bring home this massive sprint race win?
Of course, League Zero, they do a great job over here. It's been a blast all season long. I didn't know if I was going to be able to make this race with work schedule changing, so I'm not sure how the rest of my season will look. But they put on a great show week in, week out. Team Goon Squad, of course, they do fantastic broadcasts all year long, every day of the week, most likely, or basically. Of course, we have Mustard Seed Racing with Norman King, Endurance Team. They taught me a lot when I was starting out. Oval to Road with Jeffrey Sykes. He's taught me a lot lately, again, with my driving style. And it worked fantastic at this racetrack, so shout out to him. And Racing for Children's, they do, if you want to donate, they do blood disorders and childhood cancer. Try and do research on that. They're a nonprofit organization over there based in Alabama. They do a great job. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you, James, for interviewing me. I didn't know if I would be allowed into the interview booth, but
oh, here we go.
Yeah, I was accepted. So
yes, always.
I'll take it.
Yeah, racers on track and off track can be entirely different. But Jared, it's good to have you back up here, my friend. Hopefully many more to come as you're getting back into it. Congratulations on a great sprint race finish.
Thank you, you too. I'll hopefully see you guys next week, or I guess we have the endurance race this Saturday. I'll see you then.
Yes, maybe.
Maybe.
All right,
I'll be there. So.
Awesome. Jared, take care and congratulations again.
Thank you. See you later.
And that was Jared Ziegler finishing in the top spot here at the League Zero Racing Series Virginia Grand Prix. He was accompanied by Ray Aguilar and Micah Barnett, also on the podium for this sprint. On behalf of LeagueZero.net, my name has been James East with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Thank you all so much for spending your Thursday night with us, and I'll see you at the next one. Have a great night, everybody.